BWOne here from BWOne. This is my versus between the LG G3, the Samsung Galaxy S5, and the HTC One M8. This versus is going to be more focused on about the key sort of buying decisions or decisions that would help you decide which smartphone you want to buy. So much going for tech spec against tech spec and tech spec. We have a lot to cover here, so let's get this triple threat match on right now. So the first thing we're going to start off here is with hardware and design between the three of them. Then we're going to look at software and usability. We're going to look at the cameras, and then we're going to look at some of the unique intangibles that they have that sort of make it stand out from each other. And then sort of give you my final thoughts at the end here. So let's first start off with hardware design by looking at one of the best designed and best made phones in terms of sort of what it's physically made of, and that is the HTC One M8 here. Pretty nice, slick, all metal design. That's right, all metal. It's about 90% metal or so here, so it makes it feel real good, very sturdy. It's going to be one of the phones that's going to feel the best in your hand and overall, and it's going to look very, very good. When you take it out, it's going to look slick. It's going to look sexy. People are going to like it. It's going to stand out because it's sort of all metal design. It's not something you normally see with a whole lot of phones out there. It's pretty cool. Now that does make the phone, being all metal, a little slick at times, so it can slip out, so you might want to be careful with that a little bit there. And it can get a little cold, especially if you're in a colder climate, and it can feel a little weighted compared to some of the phones that are made out of polycarbonate or so. But it does feel pretty good overall in that regard. Comes with a 5-inch display here. It's 1080p, uses Super LCD3 technology. Basically each one of these uses a different technology to give you sort of a good sort of viewing experience with the screen here. Does have some okay angles when viewing, not the best when as you saw, my Google just popped up there and there. I haven't found any three of them to be the best when it comes to direct and being in direct sunlight, but this is manageable here with it. You're gonna notice image quality and color quality is gonna look good on here. It's gonna be a little, I like to say, it's, even though it's not really, more of a realistic tone, not so much of a color pop extra that you see out of some other displays. Is gonna be a little more toned down, but some people will like that as well. Has a dual cameras, which we'll get into a little bit later, with LED flash. Does have 16 gigabytes or 32 gigabytes of storage options built into it, and now it does have removable storage, which is right here on the side. Unfortunately, you need a pin to pop it out. You just can't take off the back because this has a non-removable battery built into it that's 2600 milliamp hours, and you have the SIM card here on the side, and you do have here on the front, which is pretty cool. It's a 5 megapixel front-facing camera, and also has these HTC Boomsound, almost forgot the name, but the Boomsound speakers here in the front that just kick ass with a lot of audio, which we'll get into a little bit later here. So if you like those sort of sleek designs and such, the HTC One M8 is pretty good with that. So just a quick look there at that. Let's take a look here at the phone that kind of came out right after that. It's the Samsung Galaxy S5. So it's Samsung's 5th iteration of the Galaxy S5. Didn't deviate too much from the original S4, not original, but the S4 from last year. Has a chrome trimming with a little bit of ridges here on the side of it. Comes with a 5.1 inch display instead. That top one, I guess, makes a bit of a difference. Has 1080p HD resolution using Super AMOLED here on it, so it has more of a color pop to it, makes things sort of stand out, kind of a candy color look to it from time to time, which some people do like, so I'm not knocking it there. I kind of like it a little bit better myself, but all kind of depends on you. And running Touchwiz on here, which we'll get into software in a second. If you're familiar with Samsung, it's really going to be a very familiar device to you overall. It does have the polycarbonate shell, so it doesn't have that all metal design that this has here. So some people may or may not like that. Just depends on your preference here. Has a speaker here on the back. Things that they've added is a heart rate monitor here on the back. Yep, there's a heart rate monitor around the phone. And then it has dual LED flash and a 16 megapixel camera. Very, very powerful camera, which we'll check out a little bit later here. And it also has a removable back cover battery. Let's turn it off here for a second so I can stop moving it. Let's go ahead and pop that off right there. Has a removable battery right here, so 2800 milliamp hour removable battery. Micro SD card support to add additional storage. Comes with 16 or 32 gigabytes depending on which one you get and your carrier and such. Now you can see inside of the little side of the battery door here, there's a little bit of this sort of this waterproof ridge around here. Not waterproof, I should say. It's water resistant ridge because the phone is a water resistant and dust resistant certified. So when you snap everything on here, You can withstand, you know, you can stand a few drops of water and nothing you want to dunk in. It's mostly made for people that, you know, drop their phone into the toilets and such by accident, and you can pull it out real quickly and it'll be fine for you here. You also have to make sure this latch is latched onto here, and it covers the USB 3.0 port, which does some pretty fast charging and syncing of data if you want to sync some data across it, but you want to make sure this is sort of flapped on here. Kind of don't like the fact that it kind of comes out like this. I kind of wish it was sort of a slider. Would have been a little bit easier, because this is kind of annoying. And the thing is that the phone will remind you constantly if it can sense that this is not closed, to remind you to do that, to keep it the water resistant feature working on it here. Same thing if you have the back cover not closed all the way, it will constantly remind you to close the back cover on it. So you just want to make sure of that here. So that's Samsung's offering here in terms of hardware and design. Pretty slick and typical to what you normally see with Samsung. Didn't really take too many risks here, just kind of added on what they've done with the S4 and added a couple extra things here with it. So that's hardware with that. And then so let's take a look here at the LG G3. Very slick design. It kind of combines the best of both worlds kind of between the two of them here. Now it's not made of metal. It has a polycarbonate design to it, so it's got plastic similar to Samsung here, but it has sort of this brushed metal finish here that gives it sort of that HTC feel here a little bit with it. Has a nice curved arc at the bottom of it here, fits very well in the hand. Comes with a 5.5-inch IPS display that's quad HD, so this actually has a higher resolution than the other two here, smartphones here, which is pretty interesting. It's gonna work well, and in cases where the content is made for, we do have content. LG does give you content on a device to sort of take advantage of it here. We'll look at some of the preloaded stuff here. Make sure. Oh, took a screenshot instead there by accident. Let's go ahead and turn that down here a little bit, but you'll sort of see right there, quad HD. It takes advantage of it there, of looking really good. Most of the stuff will look very good in this 1080p format. If it's not formatted in, you know, not formatted, take advantage of it here, of course, but pretty nice. You can see the really thin bezels here on the side, which is pretty cool. It makes you feel like you're just picking up an all glass display, an all glass phone here. Just have this very little thin chin here at the bottom. And they have the buttons here in the back, similar to what they did with the G2. They feel a lot better. I'm not the biggest fan of them still. I would prefer still to have my power and volume here on the side, but it is nice that they have improved that design there back on the back here. They do have a 13 megapixel camera here on the back with optical image stabilization. The only phone that has it out of the two that's here. And it has dual LED flash and laser autofocus, which is pretty cool. Allows you to focus very fast, take a really good high quality photo as quickly as possible here. And you see LTE here on the back. We are using the version that's in Korea for this comparison. Pretty much all the LG G3s are going to pretty much look exactly the same here, and as far as stateside is concerned here. You have a speaker here in the back. You also have a removable back cover as well too. We pop that bad boy off and we'll get a few thousand milliamp hour battery. You also see micro SD card storage available as well too, and you also have 16 or 32 gigabytes built into it. So that's the design here. I really do like how the LG G3 feels. I think it's done the best improvement from terms of what they had last year to this year as far as design change and feel. I definitely have to give LG a lot of props here for it. They've kind of listened and saw what they needed to improve upon and definitely did it in the hardware. Not to say the other two didn't do a good job in their designs, but definitely with LG, they've done a good job there with that. Now for some internals. Now we talked about internal storage. 16, 32 gigabytes storage are built into it. Micro SD card storage, of course. Now they all have quad-core processors inside of them. I believe they're all the Snapdragon 801. They all also have 2 gigabytes of RAM. With the exception of the LG G3, there are some models out there, depending upon your carrier and what they want to carry, that have 3 gigabytes of RAM. So you can have a 2 gigabyte or 3 gigabyte RAM option with the LG G3 versus the other two just have the 2 gigabyte options there as well too. So that's a hardware and design look here. I know I'm talking really fast because we've got a lot to go through and we don't want to make the video too long here, but you can see that each of them have a unique design and really take a different approach to really pleasing their audience and pleasing the different customers here. HTC is obviously looking for you to give you that all metal high quality feel and sexiness. The Samsung Galaxy S5 is trying to give you that water resistant, dust resistant, but give you that familiar shell within there. And the LG G3 is definitely looking at kind of giving you the best of both worlds. This isn't water resistant rated, but it it can resist it. They just don't have it rated here. I remember talking to LG rep. It is resistant in some ways, but it's not rated in that way. This doesn't have that rating at all with the One M8, but you can see between the three, very good design between all of them. But let's jump into something that's probably more important as far as day-to-day is concerned, and that is software and usability. So let's take a look at the software and usability here. So we all know these phones run Android. They all actually run Android 4.4, which is one of the latest versions out right now, but they all have a different sort of user experience on top of it that they feel is the best for consumers out there. So we're going to go through each one of these here. Start off here with HTC One M8 that runs Sense UI. So that's what's going to be called on here. Sense 6 is what they call it, a 6 Sense, kind of the goofy name they kind of gave it there. But this is Sense UI. It's vastly improved over previous versions of it. This is probably the best version that HTC has put out ever. It's very smooth, it's very fluid, as you can see there, fast, and it's very simplistic. It's definitely on the, I would say, the minimalist side of things. You don't get a lot of huff and fluff with it. It's very kind of straightforward and kind of to the point, and not adding a lot of, you know, extra UI elements and candy coated stuff and different animations and transitions. It's just kind of basically what you see is kind of what you get here. Same thing in the notification section. There's really nothing here. It's very blank, and then you can hit the icon there at the top, and this is where you can sort of get access to different quick access to different things here within it, if you want to turn on Bluetooth, airplane mode, and things of that nature. Swiping up here, you can see it's very fast. They do still have Blinkfeed. Blinkfeed's here on the side. It is basically a way to, if you want to put some social networks in there, some different news feeds and such, and sort of have it in one place aggregated that you can just kind of check. That's what Blinkfeed is. Never been a big fan of Blinkfeed. I know some people like it. Most people I know that are not big fans of it. It's a cool way if you just want to glance at something really fast. If you just want to take a quick look at something, what's going on, you can use it for that. But nothing I think you're gonna, it's not something you're going to probably jump out and really use a whole lot of. So you can organize your tabs here. You have your widgets here that you can add as well too. Hitting back here, it's all software keys here, back, home, and then you have the multitask button here, which brings this up here. And a lot easier to kind of jump around into different parts of the menu that you need. So you can jump into messaging here, bring up the keyboard. It's actually a pretty decent keyboard coming here from HTC. Doesn't end. I'm always bad on camera when it comes time to typing these things here. Not a bad keyboard, definitely pretty good. I would say that it's not better than third-party keyboards like SwiftKey. You probably would, if you're looking for something best of the best, you probably want to go third-party in that case. But if you look for the stock keyboard, it's gonna do you pretty good in that regards here. And it's got a good nice height here for the phone here. So I definitely have to say that's pretty good. See, the menu goes up and down. A little pet peeve of mine. I'm so used to all of them going left to right, from iPhones and Windows phones even go to left to right, in a sense, going between the main screen to the home screen. And these two phones go from left to right. This sort of goes up and down. So it's a little bit of a change. So some people might like that, some people might not. It's always been a little weird for me, but you can obviously get used to it, of course. Heading back home here, swipe down, go into the settings, click here, go into settings, and you'll notice as I kind of go through HTC's UI that sometimes it's a few clicks to get to kind of one setting, which is sort of one of the things that I want to see them improve in the next versions of Sense, getting you to places just a little bit quicker than they currently are right now. Your display and gestures that you can add. One of the gestures I want to show you is actually you can actually turn on the phone with a double tap like that, similar to last year's LG G3, but LG kind of takes a bit of a extra step in a new version of what they've used, sort of the knock-on feature. So it's pretty cool that they've added that. Go ahead and go back here into the menu. Another thing that they added here is sort of the pretty cool way is the, let me see, personalization here. So they've kind of have themes, and you can just choose different themes, and the themes will sort of change around some of the UI elements, which I think is pretty cool. We just hit that, hit apply, changes the wallpaper, changes everything around. You can see the accent's going to be the accents are a little bit different too. So a nice way to sort of get some customization there. It's not a major amount of it, but it's pretty cool, and I like those. I would like to see them add a little bit more to those accents, like to customize specific ones to specific colors, but pretty nice that they had that there. And you can see just fast, fluid experience, really. It's very simplistic. It's more for the minimalist person that doesn't want a whole lot of bells and whistles, want something that more works as a phone than really anything else, and doesn't want the UI to get in the way. And I think Sense really does provide that here. There's a couple of things that I wish they kind of did a little bit better, so you didn't have to make so many taps into getting into the different sort of menus and settings. But overall, very, very fast, fluid experience, and I think a lot of people will like, especially people on the minimalist and some more simplistic side. All right, let's take a look here at the UI coming from the Samsung Galaxy S5. You guys are familiar with it. It is Touchwiz, obviously. Touchwiz is pretty much what Samsung uses on almost their devices here, and it's this version here is pretty interesting. I've been always here and there with Touchwiz. I've liked it better than some of the other skins. This version of Touchwiz is pretty decent. I do think it kind of a little overbearing sometimes with it here, but it's pretty simple. You have your same home screens and customization as you saw previously. You actually get a lot more customization here with different home screen settings and stuff that you can add. You can add My Magazine, which is similar to HTC Blinkfeed. We'll turn it on here just in case to kind of show you. If I can turn it on, I think I turned it on here on the side, so we bring it all the way back and I should be able to slide it up. My Magazine, similar, just a bunch of feeds. You can kind of take a quick glance at what's going on and check out some news stories. But you can see it kind of slows down the phone here a little bit. And that's the disappointing thing I would see with Touchwiz UI. It does give you a lot of great things. Don't let me knock it. It gives you a lot of great things here, but sometimes I think some of the things that they've added sort of get in the way here a little bit. I know it sounds like I'm kind of bashing and kind of jumping on Touchwiz, is kind of jumping down on Touchwiz a little bit. I do think it's pretty good. I do think it has some pretty nice cool things to it. I like the quick find. I always like the top part here with your quick access. It does have the ultra power saving mode, which is pretty cool, which puts the phone at a very low battery, very low power state to allow you to extend the battery even further. Now this feature is available. I know I didn't mention it. This feature is available in the HTC One, but it depends on the carrier. Right now Verizon, as far as I've known, this is the Verizon version, doesn't have that. They call extreme power saving mode, doesn't have that feature available. So that's going to be very carrier dependent, but most of the ones that I've used for S5s that I've used for in the US, all of them have this power saving feature available. So it is there. Free to use here. They have a similar menu system. You kind of go around, and one thing they eliminated, used to be able to kind of move these cards around. They didn't move the different menu screens around on different cards, but they don't let you do that here. You go here to the top because they kind of got rid of the sort of the menu button. They have the multitask button here, and these are capacitive buttons here at the bottom, and a full physical menu button, which is what you won't see on the other devices here. There's really no virtual buttons here on it. This is your multitask. Simplistic to kind of jump around and get to where you need to go. Go ahead into messaging. We'll do some quick messaging. Show the keyboard here. Similar Samsung keyboard. It is let's see what we can do with this. Yeah, that's fine. I know I can't add your second. We'll close back out. Just jump in. This is the song that you can see right there. Kind of types around. Pretty decent, pretty easy to travel around. I think a lot of people will like it. Like I said, if you want better, always a third-party keyboard is going to be better for you in those situations. But on Touchwiz, all the bells and whistles that you really are looking for. If you look at somebody who likes to tinker around, you like to just kind of jump around and get through the settings here and really customize and really dig in deep. You're going to get that here with Touchwiz. That's the list view for the settings. Let's jump into the grid view here. As you can see, sort of a different way to sort of compartmentalize around here. It can be a little confusing at times, but you can kind of get around and navigate to where you want to. The same, motion gestures such as air view and such are in here. All the typical things that you would normally check out. You do have the heart rate monitor in the back, which we'll check out a little bit later. You can see menu. It's very simple for the most part, but there is a little bit of a slowdown from time to time, and that's really because everything is kind of gets stacked on top of Touchwiz here. But it's an interface that will definitely appeal to people that really like that bright and colorful interfaces, that want something that seems very familiar to them if they've used everything that they're coming from an iPad or iOS device. They might find it's a little bit easier for them to sort of jump into if they want to get into Android. And if you're looking for something that really has all the bells and whistles, it really does have that here. Everything that you're kind of looking for, all the software adders, all the extra, things, you can really find that in Touchwiz on the Galaxy S5. So it's a quick look at that. Now let's jump into the third and final one here, which is LG's GUI. It's sort of what they call it. It's they used to call it Optimus UI. They kind of changed the name around a couple of times, and the UI is pretty interesting. And I think I like this probably the best out of the other two right now, because it kind of marries sort of, once again, a bridge between sort of both of these here. So one of the cool things I want to show you. So you have the knock on feature, which you can just tap here, and it will turn on the phone. And you can tap it again and turn it off. Of course, I hit the back button there. But they have not code. So not code actually lets you, actually type in a pattern on the screen. It'll instantly unlock the phone. So my code is this here. Let's do that one more time. You hit in the right places, boom, opens up right away to the main interface here, which is actually a pretty fast and fluid interface. They do have sort of their tips and tricks and sort of feed sort of type of interface right there, and it's not really used a whole lot, I would say here. What they really focus on here is really giving you kind of getting all that extra fluff out of the way. It's there, you want to access it, it's there, but they kind of get it out of the way here for you. So that's the menu and interface here. It's kind of loaded up there for the first time, and you can kind of see you kind of go through at pretty decent speed. There is slow down randomly here from time to time, but for the most part it stays a pretty fast and smooth experience. Swipe down, you have your notifications section here. They definitely pared this down. You have your quick access here at the top. You have your notifications. You have your settings here. Let's actually jump right into that. You have your settings, which are pretty cool, easy to organize, has some cool different features. I do like that they have this sort of smart clean feature, which kind of keeps your phone storage kind of clean and neat, so it doesn't get too dirty in there, or slows their things down. So I do like that they have that. I like the fact you kind of customize your menu. As you can see here, I have the controls here customized out to where I can use dual window. I can use a notification button. I have my multitask right here at the top is available here for you as well too. So I do like that. I can just kind of swipe around and just kind of do that as well too, pretty easily. Let's go back here, show you that. You can jump into different ones. Jump right there just like that. It's a little clunky in some cases. I don't think exactly what they wanted it to look like. It can be difficult sometimes to kind of swipe around. But overall, I do think it's pretty cool that at least they added in there, and it does work functionally for it. LG uses sort of a mature UI color that they kind of say there, so that's why it's toned down quite a bit more than the other OSs. Than in the other two, which are maybe a little bit more colorful. It's a little more, like they say, they give it mature, is what they call it. But it's nice, easy to navigate around, fast and fluid for the most part. It does have a couple of other extras kind of to it. It does have sort of what's similar to what this does, but HTC One doesn't really have this, but this has this, which is sort of the dual window mode. So if I hold the back button here, should bring that up where you can run two apps at the same time. So if I wanted to run the photo gallery in one here, and I want to do my files on another here, I can do that. And LG has a very similar feature here. So if I want to run messaging in one, and I wanted to run, the gallery in the other for whatever reason, just picking two random ones here, and to set them up in sort of that dual window mode, and you can function between the two of them. You can change the sizes between, how much one takes over the other and such there. So that's available, and they also have sort of mini apps available as well too. So if you run the toolbox, which I'll have to activate that on here, so we can bring up the tool. Let's go back to list view. Let's see if we can bring up the toolbox here, which is a quick access. So you can just kind of tap that anywhere, and if I want to get to the mic recorder, I can just jump right to it. I can bounce to another app if I want to go to the browser. Kind of get the idea there, kind of bouncing between those. And this has sort of Q slide, which is these quick apps. So if I turn on Q slide here, and I want to use the internet, I can jump into there, and it can make a small mini window that you can resize around, and you can multitask while doing some other things here on the side. So those are nice added little features. Just want to show you the comparison between both of those there. I don't know how much people are going to use them, but at least they are there, and it's pretty cool that they have them available. So let's go back here in LG's UI. I think overall pretty cool, pretty nice. Kind of gives you all the features, but kind of keeps itself out of the way here a little bit, kind of parse things down a little bit better than I would say that Samsung sort of does there. But let's go ahead and turn all these bad boys back on here. Let's talk about the usability. We obviously talked about they're pretty useful in their own right. You can see three different approaches, three very, very different approaches between going through the software. But I will say battery life across the board and all of them has been very good for me. I can't really complain. All of them, I'm a power user, and all of them been able to get me through a work day with no problem. I've been able to unplug the phone at 9 a.m., get to about 10 p.m. and still have solid battery available, at least 20% or so with it. I would say the best of the bunch is probably the LG G3. It's done pretty good, but it also has a bigger battery than the other two. So the impact of the more pixels and the Quad HD on the screen really hasn't affected it. It has been pretty good for me in battery life, and that little extra battery capacity on it has proven to last a little bit longer, but all three overall is going to give you a very, very good battery life experience. We're finally getting up there with smartphones getting better battery life. Not quite there yet, but we are getting there here with it. But overall, all three, you can see they all have a very different approach to their software experience. They're trying to get you the same destination here a little bit. I would say, you know, if your HTC One M8 is for the simplistic, the minimalist out there looking for something very simple, easy and fluid, Galaxy S5 is definitely people that want all software, all the features, all the little extra additives out there. Mind you, it might run a little slow and sluggish from time to time, but it is going to be there for you. And the LG G3 is sort of your middleman, your best of both worlds. It's going to give you a fast, fluid experience. So does here and there, not too often, but it's not going to get in your way. So if you want to sort of par it down and just have a very simple experience, you can do that here in the LG G3. It gives you probably the most customization out of the other two there with it. So that's software and usability. Let's jump in to take a look at the cameras on each one of these. So much like their software offerings, which we just showed you, their camera offerings also vastly take different approaches as well too. Let's jump first into the HTC One M8. This has what they call HTC Duo camera. You can see the two cameras here set up. Right here is an ultra megapixel camera that takes the photo, and then up here is a second camera that takes in more data about the photo that you're taking to create a better shot. So it actually creates some pretty interesting results here. So I'm going to actually go into the camera to show you the camera UI. If I think I tapped into it, there we go. Camera UI itself is pretty simplistic, pretty basic, not too much to it. You can tap that menu button. It gives you the option to go into video, which shoots 1080p. Zoe camera, which is sort of a fun way to take photos and videos kind of at the same time. And it kind of goes through the gallery to kind of give you these fun little stories and such with it. You have selfie mode, dual capture, and pan 360. Selfie mode is basically the front facing camera, which is 5 megapixels, but we're not going to focus too much on the front facing. We're going to be focusing on the main cameras here on the rear. And then you have your multitude of menu options from auto, ISO mode. You can have HDR, panoramic, auto white balancing, go into settings, and you can go deeper into here to customize and change things out as you want to. So it's a pretty simple layout. Wish things were a little more together in the menu system, but it's okay. Most people are going to be able to understand it and get it. Let's go ahead and pull over here. Let's get these couple in focus here so we can get a good shot. So basically take a photo, snap, boom, easy like that. I have flash on automatically. You can turn the flash off and takes the photo very, very fast here. Now, what I've found interesting in the results is that I would say the camera on the One M8 is probably more along the lines of a good camera for people that are sharing online, posting online, or sharing mobilely, and not necessarily looking to put it on a computer to blow it up or to print it out or do anything like that, because there is enough resolution in the ultra megapixel to really take advantage of that. But it does a pretty good job of taking a photo, looks good, and then it does a good job of taking low light photos. That was probably the most impressive thing that I saw with it when I went out one night with a bunch of friends and we took a photo. I took a photo with this One M8 and the low light quality, and it looks so good, and it was really nice and vibrant. So I would say if you're looking at this camera, it's definitely a camera that's more along the lines of take the photo, you're trying to share it out real quickly, have a little fun, couple little story modes that you can use with it with the Zoe camera, use a couple of filters here now and then with it, but it's really all about really taking good low light photography and low lit environment, and it does a pretty good job of that. So you're the type of person that heads out a lot at night, different clubs, bars, and social events, and usually there isn't the brightest lighting in there and you want to take good photos. The One M8 is really focused in that direction here with it. All right, going into what's kind of the opposite is the Samsung Galaxy S5, which has a 16 megapixel camera inside of it. Yep, 16 megapixels, and it's really with flash here on the bottom here. And this camera, what they kind of approach for is giving you basically, as this camera loads up, everything under the sun possible in terms of settings on here. We'll get those in focus here, and it has everything, quick access to turning HDR mode on. You can have sort of sensitive focus, selective focus, hop into your settings here, multitude of different camera settings you can choose from. You have your modes, tons of modes, panorama, virtual tour, which is pretty interesting. That allows you to sort of create sort of a walking tour of it. It'll take images of as you go around of wherever in a room or outside, and kind of creates this tour that you can send out to other people that can support it. Pretty interesting. Nice little way to kind of virtually go through things. It's like a little virtual 3D map. Yeah, panorama shots and more. It actually lets you download through Samsung Store more of the modes instead of kind of auto putting them in here, but there's still a ton available. This also records in 4K resolution as well too, which is pretty cool. So you can do 1080p and 4K video. 60 megapixel shots are pretty good. There's also some pretty cool things such as pan and zoom and selective focus as well too, which I just talked about here, which basically, I'm not sure if this is going to work on here. Probably will not. We can try it. Yeah, it's probably not going to work because I'm not applying the focus properly, but basically that lets you allow to refocus a photo. Let's see if I can jump into here and find a photo that I possibly did that with recently. I think I have one in this gallery of multitude of photos. Here's a quick look at a low light photo here with it. Does pretty decent as long as there's enough lighting of low light around it. I would say in very dark environments it's probably not the best. Let's see if we can find it. I'm probably not going to find it in here. Some more low light images here. There we go. This is one of the photos here that I took in a boardroom, and you can actually use selective focus on here. You can see a little icon. It kind of lets you play with it. So if I wanted to focus from afar, I can just tap and change that. Pan focus. Make subtle changes. You can kind of see there the chair kind of comes in and out of focus, but that's sort of the idea. You can do near focus, hand focus, out of focus like that. So that's just basically the idea there with the camera. But so as far as selective focus is concerned, but the camera itself is probably, I would say, out of all these, is going to get you the highest quality shot in the most modes possible. As far as in this group in category, it's going to be a very good looking photo. You have a ton of options and ways of shooting it, and a ton of modes and all sorts of pretty cool stuff to get really cool photos and have some fun with it there. And a very simplistic interface for the most part, but it is a lot cluttered, and compared to the next one I'm going to show you, it's definitely a little over cluttered there. And that is going to be LG's G3 here. Has a 13 megapixel camera with optical image stabilization. The only one that kept it, because last year the HTC One M7 actually had it, but they got rid of it in the M8. This actually has that in there, and also has laser autofocus, which is extra sensor here. Other side here is LED flash. So basically, what does that mean for this bad boy here? So I'm just gonna turn it on here. There we go, at home. So basically the camera and the LG G3, we'll set these bad boys up here a little bit. There we go. The LG G3 itself, it's all about taking the fastest high quality photo possible. So really it's like the laser autofocus literally focuses very, very fast. Boom. Takes a shot and done just like that. Let's see if we can move out and focus on something a little faster. Boom, done just like that. And this is the basic interface. It doesn't really show you any settings, anything else. This is the basic one. You just tap on the screen, take the photo. Now, if you hit the menu button here, it brings you to a more robust interface. It does do 4K recording as well too, similar to the S5 here. So you do have that option available, and also 1080p video if you want to do that too. And you have your different modes and stuff here, but it's very basic. It's definitely a departure from what you saw sort of in what HTC has and what Samsung has in their interface. It's more along the lines of what we used to see when it came to Android phones, where there were very basic modes, like switch to the front facing camera there by accident, and really just it has panoramic, magic focus, dual camera capturing, and settings menu right here. Very few settings for you kind of to choose around. It really truthfully relies on the auto mode here. It does very good with low light photos as well too, which I really like. The really, I would say with the LG, it's really focused on taking a very fast, high quality photo. And I was able to really shake around. I was really trying to shake around the autofocus, make it kind of jitter, give me a blurry photo. Really in real world usage, just popping it out, boom, taking a photo. It's really fast with it, and I really wasn't able to get a photo out of focus, which was very interesting with it. Let's see if we can take another photo. Boom, snaps just like that, just that fast. And the photo quality, like I said, it's very, very good here with it. I cannot complain with the LG G3. And you see how simple the interface is. It's definitely for a person that is looking to, I want to take the photo, I want to take a good photo, and I want to send it. I want to just shoot it out there, get it on, upload it online. I don't want to miss out on the moment. I want to shoot it, take the photo, and then go from there. And that's really what LG's sort of camera is all about here. So you can see between all three here, each camera has a very, very different approach to giving you quality. Okay, just to recap here, the Samsung Galaxy S5 camera is really all about pretty much giving you the highest quality photo possible and as many modes as you can dump into it. You can have so many options to take great photos with. It's basically giving you a point and shoot camera and all the abilities of a point and shoot camera right here with it. And it's probably going to give you the greatest overall photo quality here with 16 megapixels and its lens, and then all its modes and stuff like that, because megapixels aren't everything, but it does. Out of all these, I think this does kind of the best in terms of overall quality. The LG G3 is really all about, I want to take that photo fast and as high quality as possible and shoot it out there as fast as possible, and that's what the G3 is going to give you here. You don't want any modes in your way, you don't want anything else, you just want, I want the camera, basic functionality, boom, get it done. If I want to add a couple of quick things here or a couple of extra features or modes, I can choose that if I want to, but I just want to pull out, capture the moment as quickly as possible and do what I want to do from there. So that's what this one has here. And the HTC One M8 is all really about, I'm taking a photo, I'm really going to be sharing maybe mobile, maybe sharing it more, not looking to blow it up or do anything like that. It's really all about taking a good photo to share around, especially low light photos. I might have the highest resolution, I might get the most detail out of it, but it will be a good photo for sharing around with friends. And if I'm in a lot of low light situations, this is going to do pretty good for me as well too. So that's the kind of the cameras between the three here, and it's really kind of what your preference is in terms of which one you think is going to be the best camera for you. Now let's take a look at some of the intangibles here between them, the things that sort of make it stand out between each other. Realistically, probably HTC has probably the biggest standout, and that is the Boomsound, these two front-firing speakers that are just absolutely amazing. They beat out any speakers on a smartphone in the market altogether. It's not even any point to even compare them to these. This is just so much better. I'm going to show you here just as you can hear them. We're going to play a quick YouTube video here as soon as I find where I put it. There it is, and you're going to be able to hear how it sounds. Yeah, there you go. Like, listen to that.
This is Kenny with BWOne.com. We're here with the hands-on.
I mean, you really do not get something like that anywhere else on a smartphone.
HTC's flagship
Yeah, we'll jump up here.
When I was pulling out of my pocket.
Jump around here a little bit.
Thanks, and a couple other additional design features that are going to be new and a little bit better this year.
I mean, just, you don't get speakers like that on a smartphone anywhere else really but on the One M8 here, and that's really one of the unique features about it. If you're looking to listen to good audio or just watch a movie and you don't want to put on headphones, this is really where you're going to want that unique factor with the speakers here, HTC Boomsound. All right, we'll go ahead and end that bad boy there. Samsung's, they're probably a unique feature between all of them outside of the, I think the water resistant, dust resistant things are pretty obvious. I think the most unique thing here really is the heart rate sensor here. So we're going to go ahead and give that a go. And we can do that up to here at the top. And it's in the S Health application. All right, tells us where to hold it, which we're going to do right here. It's right over here in the center. So let's make sure we hold it in the right position. And you're supposed to relax and keep quiet. All right, it's got me a 75. Let's see if I can change it. 68. You can see I dropped it down there a little bit here. So that's pretty cool for you guys that are health and fitness nuts and such and so on, which everybody should be a health and fitness nut in some shape or form. This is pretty cool to actually have that on there, and it just allows you to carry one less tool with you if you want to keep track of your heart rate. And that's, I know it's pretty important for people that do a lot of running, cyclists, a lot of people that do a lot of cardio based things. That might be something very important to them. So that's pretty cool, and that's probably like the one intangible unique feature here on it. And with the LG G3, it's probably a unique feature outside of the back buttons here on the back, which is more of a hardware thing, and it's quad HD display is probably the one intangible that stands out. The only thing I can really think of truthfully is probably the laser autofocus. Is something that the other two phones don't have, allows it to focus a lot faster. But I would say that there isn't really an intangible that jumps out that isn't really on any other smartphone right now. I think it's the one thing the LG doesn't have is that unique factor to it, other than really I say like really laser autofocus, which we went over that in the camera section here with it. But that's just sort of the unique intangibles between the three of them here. Probably the most standout, to be quite honest, is HTC Boomsound. The heart rate monitor, that's kind of cool for here and there, and really the LG doesn't really have anything that stands out. but they all can be used as TV remotes if you want to use them as TV remotes as well too, if you're gonna ever use that. But that's just looking at some unique factors here. Let's go ahead and just wrap things up here. So as you can see there, all three of these phones are really good phones. There's very slight differences and things between all three of them. You really can't go wrong with any of them here, but which one makes it the best one? Well, I'm gonna save that for you guys to sort of pick there. But I would say what I'm most excited about, it has to be the LG G3. Only because out of the other two here, the LG G3 really has probably made the biggest step up from its predecessor. Doesn't necessarily make it the best phone out of the bunch. That's going to be for you guys to decide here in the comments. So definitely comment, post below what you guys think, and just don't say this is my favorite phone and just saying LG G3 or HTC One and start a fanboy word. Don't want you guys necessarily doing that, but post your comment and put a couple of sentences next to why you think which one is better or how you would rank these accordingly and what you sort of think about it. Let's get some really good discussion going on here with this. Also, while you're doing that, be sure to like this video, favorite this video, and also subscribe to our YouTube page here. Definitely helps us out. All three of those help us out here at BWOne.com. Be sure to connect with us on all our social networks and on our main website at BWOne.com. You can find those in the description. The links to all those are in the description as well. And also, at the end of this video, we're going to have each of the individual reviews that we did for each one of these phones. If you want some greater detail, check those videos out as well too. This is BWOne from BWOne.com, and I really appreciate you guys watching this video here. And as always, live your tech world in high definition. Thanks for watching.